right?
Seifer asked, leaning against the stone wall.
Tifa told me he'd come at 1.
Yes, well, Tifa holds that boy too high in regard.
We all do. It's like family, you know?
Yes, we do. He truly is the best of us, and I hope he will join our little circle.
Rai nodded and he turned to leave, but instead someone blocked the path. Paine had entered the room, along with Fu and a tall person in a biker's uniform.
What are you doing here?
What? Am I not on the party list? Well, that's a shame. Because I brought party gifts.
The biker pulled out a shimmering orb from his jacket pocket.
Are those all the souls?
No. Just the good ones, stored here. Figured it was a good idea to keep them separate from the incompatible ones. What with some awkward interference from last night.
The Ghost Rider.
The one and only. Only you can make my gang's bones tremble. Looks like we got the attention of the big fish.
We knew this might happen, people. We continue with the plan to get that last soul. Tonight is the last night we can perform the spell. If we do not get that last soul tonight, then everything we have worked on will be for nothing.
We only need one more?
Paine asked. Her eyes shimmered with excitement.
Yes, Sora will be arriving with the explosives at 1. We have until then to prepare. Kane.
The biker turned to his direction and awaited orders.
Go back to Hell's Highway, give me that last soul, no matter what, and if you find that rider, send him to hell.
The biker known as Kane chuckled.
I wouldn't worry about that. If what I saw in the rider's soul was right, you'll be getting your wish, Seifer.
Vincent Valentine was worried. For all of his time as a vampire, he encountered a lot of things. None of them stumped him as much as this did. He had poured through every book, every contact he knew, every type of information-gathering spell he could cast to find any clue as to why Mephisto would use a ghostwriter without a contract. Yet he found nothing, which worried him more than anything. When a tradition such as this suddenly changes its rules, there's usually a pretty sinister reason as to why.
Why would you make a ghostwriter without a contract?
Vincent pondered to himself.
Why risk having him backstab you? Why risk not holding insurance? Something is wrong. Something is very wrong. The devil does not make these kind of careless errors. Not alone. Could he be sleeping?
Vincent sighed to himself and he began putting away a huge pile of old books. As he neatly placed the books in a row on the shelf, a thought occurred to him.
Mephisto wouldn't take such a careless risk. Unless he knew he couldn't lose.
Sora stared out of his bedroom window and out to the city in front of him. When his mom had picked him up after school, during the drive home, Sora never spoke a word. He just gazed out of his window and stared at the things they passed. His mom tried to talk to him, ask him what was going on, but he wouldn't even grunt or mutter an answer. All he did was just stare out the window. Even when they got home, he went straight to his bedroom, closed the door, and continued to look out his window. Why would he be doing this, you wonder? Well, if you spent most of the day seeing images of yourself murdering people, wouldn't you be silent? That's what Sora was doing, trying to cope with the images by being silent, just thinking. He almost wished it was raining again so he could focus on the pitter-patter of rain. Unfortunately, the rainstorm from last night disappeared today, so Sora just watched as the sun slowly set behind the city. Soon dusk turned to evening and he decided to go meet Vincent in Hell's Highway. He grabbed his jacket and walked down the steps. He was passing by the kitchen when he stopped in front of the entrance. He saw his mom sitting at the kitchen table, her arms resting on the table and her head buried in them. Muffled sobs were distinctly coming from her. Sora set his jacket on the chair opposite from her and he walked over to his mom.
Mom? Mom, are you okay?
He asked, placing his hand on her shoulder. which strangely caused more sobs to come from her.
No, I'm not okay. I don't know what's wrong with you.
What's wrong with me?
His mom lifted her head and revealed red, puffy eyes, tears still coming down them.
You were such a happy boy. And one day, you changed into this upset, doubtful, angry person.
Sora didn't know what to respond with, so he stayed silent and waited for his mom to continue.
I did everything I could. Everything a single mother can do. I work long hours, but I'm never gone for too long. I keep you fed and healthy. I try to keep you safe. Where did I go wrong with you, Sora?
No, Mom, you didn't go wrong with me.
Don't say that. Just don't. Those are lies, Sora, and you know they are. Did you know I couldn't sleep last night? I spent most of the night thinking of where I went wrong with you as you snuck out. Oh yes, Sora. I know you snuck out. To do God knows what.
Mom, stop.
What happened to you, Sora? Why do you do the things you do? Are you in a gang? Is that what's going on?
No, Mom, it's nothing like that. Just please stop.
I can't stop. Don't you understand? I can't. I can't sit at home and not worry you're not putting someone in the hospital. Or worse, yourself.
Stop it! Just stop it!
Just tell me. Tell me why you do these things. Tell me where I went wrong. Why do you—
Because I'm a monster!
Sora screamed, his own eyes widening in shock as the realization settled in.
I'm a monster.
His mother seemingly paid no attention to the revelation. She just buried her head back in her hands.
I just wish I could have my boy back. Why can't I have him back?
His mom continued, pulling Sora into a hug. Now Sora really didn't know what to say in this. He decided to wrap his arms around his mom and simply state what he thought.
Believe it or not, Mom, I do too.
Sora was able to remember the back roads that Vincent showed him. They seemed to reach his house, the school, and the city alleys as well. Because of this, he felt confident about riding his motorcycle down the road over to Hell's Highway. He steadily guided the bike over to the alley behind the marketplace and parked it just outside the alley. From there, he traveled a bit down the road and looked for Vincent. As he walked further, he was beginning to think that he was a no-show, until he heard something drop from behind him. He rolled around and saw the distinct blood-red cloak, as well as the red eyes.
I was starting to think you wouldn't show up.
You didn't exactly say when to get here. You just said show up tonight.
So I did.
Sora kicked down the kickstand on his motorcycle, slipped off his helmet, and walked over to Vincent.
Okay, so you said something about training?
Yes. Now, there is something you need to remember about the Ghost Rider. It may be a spirit, but it is an extension of you. It is a twisted part of you that enjoys destroying evil and exacting vengeance for the innocent.
Sora swallowed hard. He was in the midst of recalling what he had already tried to forget, when he mentally forced it down and tried to focus.
Alright, alright, so, in other words, he's me. But wait, if he's me, why is it whenever I transform, I don't feel like I'm in control?
As I said, the spirit is an extension of you, the part of you that is dormant and hidden. The reason you don't feel like you're in control is because it's a side of you that isn't normally displayed or used. Since it is still you, you are technically in control, yet it is also a side of you that you normally don't see.
So, this side of me, the person you're seeing right now, won't ever have complete control over Ghost Rider.
Correct. However, there is a way for you to unlock some of his power.
Sora's interest was grabbed as Vincent continued to explain.
In certain situations, when you are surrounded by evil, but it is not dark enough to transform. You can use some of the rider's abilities as a form of defense.
Seriously? How?
That's what I am about to show you. Now, the best weapon to use and the most easy to access is a ball of hot fire. This fire can be put out by normal means. From what I understand, a rider can summon this power by... How can I explain this? Okay, try to imagine there are two threads. One is you and the other one is the rider. When you transform, these two threads combine to make a single thread. But if you want to access some of the rider's powers when you can transform, try to imagine taking a single strand from each thread and lightly connecting them together.
Sora frowned. It may have been easy to imagine, but that's all it was. Easy to imagine. It kind of felt like when he was a kid. He once thought he could move a ball with his mind by simply willing it to happen.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, look, I'm not sure if that's going to...
Yes, it can work. It's been done with millions of other riders, and I am sure other riders said the exact thing you did. So let's skip this part and go ahead, shall we?
Sora wanted to snap at him for cutting him off like that. But with the way the vampire was looking at him, he didn't look like he was in the mood to be messed with. Sora gave a sigh and closed his eyes, trying to imagine two strands of a thread connecting. He waited for a bit, expecting nothing to happen, but then he felt something warm coming from his hand. He opened his eyes and then folded his fingers to reveal a small fire emitting from his palm. He gasped and stared at the flames. He looked back at Vincent, who was smiling slightly. Sora felt a bit confident, so he looked at the trash can next to him, pulled his arm back, and threw the small flame at the trash can. However, the moment it left Sora's hand, it turned from a small flame to a fireball. The fireball slammed into the trash can and hit him directly on the impact. Sora jumped at the startling attack, and Vincent's eyes widened.
Holy! Well, that was unexpected.
Sora laughed nervously, flexing his fingers as the flame backed down.
It was a little surprising, yes. You can now summon the most basic of attacks. With more time, you will be able to learn and use some of the rider's stronger powers.
Oh, well, that sounds, that sounds awesome.
Yes. Sora, I wanted to ask you something. About when you met Mephisto for the first time.
Yeah? What about it?
What can you tell me about that night? It's really important that I know exactly what happened.
Sora didn't respond to Vincent, and he began to worry he was going to ignore his question. Sora gave a shuddering sigh and spoke.
I was only 8 years old. I wandered too far from home and got lost as it started to rain. I was trying to find my way back when I saw him standing there, as if he was waiting for me. I tried to run away, but he grabbed me. I remember begging him over and over and over to let me go.
Then, what happened?
Well, he did. He let me go.
Just like that?
Just like that. It was probably the most horrible...
That can be it.
Sora gave Vincent a look of surprise.
Can't be what?
That can be it. The devil doesn't just let someone go because they beg. You're not telling me something. What happened exactly? Wait. What did you say to him exactly?
I don't remember. Look, it was such a long time ago.
You do, Sora. You do remember. Now, remember. What did you say to him exactly? What did you say to get him to let you go?
I said I would do anything. Yes. I would do anything if he let me go. And then he asked if I would work for him.
Did you say yes? Did you say you would work for him?
Yes.
You idiot!
Sora stepped back at Vincent's yell. The vampire waved his arms around in anger as he took a few steps forward to him.
You said yes! Why would you say yes?
I was 8 years old! I was scared! I didn't know what else to do! He was gonna drag me down to hell!
No, he wasn't! He couldn't! You were an innocent child who didn't make a deal with him. He wouldn't be allowed to bring you in hell. There are protections, packs of sort that prevent that kind of thing.
Wait, what the hell are you saying then?
He tricked you. He played off you and your fears, and it worked. You are working for him, for free.
And that's bad?
Oh yes, Sora. That is very bad. To him, you're like a worker on non-union pay. Expendable.
What does that mean? What's gonna happen to me?
Vincent's anger washed away as he heard Sora's frightened voice.
I don't know. It could mean anything. I won't know for sure.
The two of them were cut off by a scream. They rolled around and ran down the alley towards the source. The moment they rounded the corner and saw the source of the scream, Sora only groaned. In front of them was a man wearing a black mask, and he was trying to steal a purse from a certain redhead. And of course that redhead was Kairi.
2 nights in a row? Really?
Sora was about to step forward when suddenly Vincent's clawed arm shot out and stopped him.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Sora was about to protest when the oddest thing happened. The small struggle continued for a few minutes, until the man in the black mask let go of her purse and ripped off his mask, to reveal Tidus.
God, Kairi, I'm getting tired of this!
Tidus yelled, glaring at Kairi, who stopped screaming and sighed.
You volunteered for this, right? I'm paying you, right?
Yeah, you're only paying me like 10 friggin' bucks!
Sora gasped when he saw Wakka, Namine, Riku, and Yuffie step out of the alley across from where he was. Apparently they have been watching this little scene.
Kairi, this isn't working.
We've been at it for 3 streets already and nothing.
I told you it was impossible! Now can I go home?
No! I know he's real. We just need to try again.
Kairi, remember what happened half an hour ago? We barely avoided that officer.
Okay, I admit it, that was bad timing. But this time, I have a better plan. Okay, first we need to put Riku in that dress that I bought.
Wait, what?
Kairi, this is stupid.
Maybe we should go home.
Why am I being put in a dress?
But
Look, Kairi, whoever saved you isn't just going to happen to be here tonight. Now, we played along with you for a while, but enough is enough.
Guys, this is a serious question. Why do I have to wear a dress?
Because you have very feminine hips, alright?
Kairi yelled over to Riku, whose eyes widened and he stamped his foot down.
I do not.
Do you know these people?
Vincent asked, looking at this exchange with amusement.
You know, I really don't. But that doesn't matter. I'm out of here.
Sora scoffed, walking back down the alley. He turned to Vincent and huffed.
Unbelievable. I can't believe... Oh, I can't believe they would try to lure me out as Ghost Rider.
Looks like you might have an admirer.
Vincent noted, causing Sora to stop dead in his tracks.
Admire? No. No, no, no. 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 No way. Not her.
Really? 16 no's? Why are you acting like it's such a terrible thing?
Well, 'cause it is. I hate that girl. I put loads of stink bombs in her locker. I humiliate her for life.
Ah, so it's a love-hate sort of thing?
Vincent chuckled, causing Sora's jaw to drop.
No, it's not that at all!
He burst, causing Vincent to look back and make sure no one heard them.
If it's not that big of a deal, then why are you getting so defensive?
Vincent asked. Once again, Sora stuttered and babbled. Finally, he just sighed and waved his hand dismissively.
Whatever.
As he turned around to leave, Sora saw someone standing at the end of the alleyway, the lights from the street lamps behind the person. Sora turned and gave Vincent a look before turning back to the person, who didn't move from the spot. Sora waited a few minutes before he walked up.
Hello?
He had no response from the biker, so he continued forward.
Hey, buddy, what are you doing here?
As Sora got closer, he suddenly felt like a blaze was set off inside his chest. He held his sides as the person he was speaking to looked up at him for Sora to see a skinless, eyeless face.
Oh, crap.
Sora took off running as the skeletal creature began to chase him. Vincent's hand grabbed for a gun strapped on his side, and he held it up to shoot.
Shoot it! Shoot it!
I can't! You're in the way!
Sora would move out of the way. With his chest giving the strong feeling of burning every 12 seconds, it's hard to not keep running.
Fire! Okay, now's not a good time to test it.
He looked at his hand and tried to imagine the 2 threads connecting again, which was hard to do while being chased, but he did it. The fire returned to his hand and he quickly spun around and threw a fireball as he fell backwards. Sora spun his head around to see Vincent had fired, smoke pouring from a rather unusual gun with 3 barrels stacked in a triangular shape. He lowered his gun and moved to Sora.
Are you alright?
Yeah. Beyond this damn burning in my chest!
You're transforming. If you're still feeling it even now, they'll more here.
He stood up and aimed his gun forward.
Stay close.
Sora groaned with the burning pain and stood up, following Vincent as he moved further down the alley, only stopping when he held out his clawed hand.
You hear that?
Sora paused and strained his ears to catch the sound of motorcycles. A lot of motorcycles. When the sounds got louder, Sora could see a strand of skeletal bikers on motorcycles whooping and hollering as they shot down the road. Vincent watched them ride on by until they turned right and vanished from sight.
Where are they going? I need to find out where they are headed. Can you? Never mind. Stay here. I'll see what they are up to.
Before Sora could even protest, Vincent was gone. He gave a groan of pain as he slumped up against the wall and looked as smoke slowly began to pour from his jacket. He began to breathe in and out as he tried to fight away the transformation through sheer force of will. His concentration was shattered when the scream echoed out from the alley. It didn't take him long to realize where they came from. The exact spot where Kairi and her friends were.
Oh, come on. Really? Now it really is happening? Really?
Sora slowly backed up and turned to the street where Vincent vanished to.
Hey! Vincent! Hey! Oh, come on. You couldn't have ran that... Vincent!
Nothing. The vampire was long gone. He was on his own. Sora looked back to the alley where Kairi and her friends were being attacked, and felt himself rooted in a spot.
Come on, Sora. Think. What do I do?
The answer became obvious to Sora the moment he finished those words, but they reminded him of his struggle earlier in the day. How he struggled with himself, with saving that girl, of the horror he saw in that man's eyes and how he saw himself committing all those sins. He knew in this moment if he walked away now, he would be essentially sending 6 teenagers to their deaths.
No. No way. I am not a killer. I am not a monster.
Sora roared as smoke shot out in plumes around his body.
Not like this. Not like this.
Flame shot out around his body as his face melted away like before, to nothing but bone. As the bright red fire surrounded his now faceless skull, he cracked his neck and walked to his motorcycle. He grabbed the chain that was strapped to the side and with a jerk he pulled it off. The fires that surrounded the chain leaked onto his bike and reformed his demonic ride from the night prior. With his chain in his hands, he shrugged his shoulders and began to walk down the alley.